Welcome my dear students. In this chapter we have already learnt a definition of rest and motion and types of motion. Today we are going to learn few more terms like uniform and non-uniform motion, distance and displacement, scalar and vector quantities, definition of speed, types of speed like uniform, non-uniform and average speed. So let us. We have learned the concept of motion. We have learned different types of motion. Now let us learn some terms related to motion like uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Uniform and non-uniform motion. Let us start with uniform motion. Uniform motion is that motion when an object moves equal distances in equal interval of time. So two terms I have mentioned: equal distance in equal interval of time. Means what? Suppose an object moves this way, say first 30 kilometer in say 50 minutes, then it should maintain this time interval and that distance every time. Next 30 kilometer again in 50 minutes, again next 30 kilometer in 50 minutes. If it happens, if it goes on continuously, constantly, then the object is said to have an uniform motion. Now it is very much clear that non-uniform motion is that motion when the object does not cover equal distances in equal interval of time. Suppose in first 50 minutes it covers 30 kilometer, in next 50 minutes it covers 10 kilometer, in next 50 minutes it covers say 25 kilometer. If this goes on, every time the distance covered by the object in equal interval of time changes. This is called non-uniform motion. The term, another term related to motion is not actually term, this is the conception. We have learned that motion is the change of the position of an object, change in position of an object with respect to time and with respect to time and its surroundings and the surroundings. We have learned this. Then only we can say that the object is in motion. So it is actually change in position. Suppose the object moves this way. The object was at initially was at what I told initially. We will use this term again. Initially it was at A. Suppose A. From A it moves to B. B to C suppose. C to D suppose. A to B is say 5 kilometer. B to C is suppose 10 kilometer. C to D is say 3 kilometer. So the object changes the position from A to B, B to C, C to D. Actually it displaces. Object displaces, object changes its position. This is its final position. D is its final position, at least now in our example. Now I have used the term displacement. I have used the term displacement. Actually, displacement is the shortest path covered between the initial point and the final point. Shortest path is if there is any path for that object to move from A to D through a straight line. This should be the shortest path, and this is called displacement. This distance AD, this length AD, length of this path AD is the displacement in this case. Then what is the total path covered? 5 plus 10 plus 3, 5 plus 10 plus 3, here it is 15 plus 3, 18 kilometer is its distance, not the displacement. It is distance actually. Total length of the path covered by the object, total length of the path covered by the object is distance, and the shortest path between the initial point and the final point is called the displacement. Here displacement is from A to D, so it has one direction. So in this example, if we could measure this distance from A to D, measure this length of the path from A to D, suppose that length is say 12 kilometers, suppose, then 12 kilometer is the displacement, whereas distance is 18 kilometer, total path covered. Now take another example. If an object moves from A to B, suppose straight path A to B, and as you are very much familiar with using maps, so from top to bottom on the surface is actually from north to south. This side is north, that side is south, north to south. So if it is told that one object moves from north to south, from A to B is north to south, then it moves due east. This side is east, you know, right side is east. Say this distance B to C, suppose. So, and if the object moves this way, north to south, then south to east directly, then it will be one right angle. It will form one right angle. If it is 3 kilometer and it is 4 kilometer, then the total distance here the distance is, already you have learnt, 3 plus 4, 7 kilometer, and the displacement will be the straight path between A and C. This distance AC is this path AC is the displacement. If we could measure this displacement, then AC would have been the displacement. If we could measure the length of AC, and we can measure, if it forms a right angle triangle, this has been a right angle triangle, AB and BC are mutually perpendicular if an object moves this way, as I have told, then AC will be the hypotenuse. You will learn in mathematics, AC will be the hypotenuse. By using Pythagoras theorem, here we can use Pythagoras theorem to find out AC. AC will be, the measure of AC will be root under 3 square plus 4 square, and this is root under 25, which is equal to 5 kilometer. This is the measure of AC. AC is equal to 5 kilometer in this case. So here the displacement is 5 kilometer. What I told, between the initial point between the initial point and the final point, between the initial point and the final point. Here initial point is A, final point is C. So remember, the displacement is the shortest path between the initial point and the final point. Now I am giving you another example. Here I have taken one example in which the object starts from A, reaches B, then it goes to C and comes back to A. A to B, B to C, C to A. Distances are given. Length of the paths, segments of the paths are given. A to B 7 km, B to C 9 km, C to A 12 km. What is the distance then? Distance is the sum of all these segments. 7 plus 9 plus 12, 7 plus 9, 16 plus 12, 28 km. Now the displacement. What is the displacement? What is the displacement in this case? Remember, I have told the shortest path between the initial and the final point. What is the initial point? That is starting point. Starting point is A, initial point is A. What is the final point then? A itself is the final point. Here initial point and the final point are same. So what is the shortest path between the initial point and the final point? Nothing. So displacement here is 0. So displacement can be 0, but distance can never be 0. In the same example, another thing I must mention, that displacement must have some direction. Here we cannot show any direction, but in the previous example, let me draw the previous diagram again. This was our previous example in which AB was 3 km, BC was 4 km, and we have determined AC by using one theorem that I have mentioned, Pythagoras theorem. You will learn this one also, Pythagoras theorem. By using Pythagoras theorem, we have determined AC, root under AB square plus BC square. I have shown you AB square plus BC square, root under AB square plus BC square. That's why I have written root under 3 square plus 4 square in that case, whatever. So AC was the displacement in that case. Remember, since this is the shortest path between the initial and the final point, between the initial and the final point, so it has some direction. You need to show from which point to which point, from which initial point to which final point. So it must have some direction. Displacement must have some direction. Displacement must have some direction, whereas you need not mention any direction for distance. What would you say? This is moving from north to south, then south to west, south to east, then again east to what, which side? North east, northwest side. So it is not required. In case of distance, mentioning the direction is not required, whereas in place of displacement you must mention direction along with its magnitude. So one displacement has two parts. One displacement has two parts. One is magnitude, that is value. Here the value is 5 km. This is magnitude. And the direction is from A to C. These two things must be mentioned in case of displacement. Some physical quantities are there where we need to mention both magnitude and direction. I will tell you later. Let me finish the displacement first. Suppose one object has started from A and then comes back to A by a circular path, then displacement is again 0. again displacement is 0. In case of this type of movement of the object, if it starts from A, moves to B, then to C, then to D, then to E, and again comes back to A, if it happens, then displacement is 0. So in case of any closed path, displacement is always 0, because the initial point and the final point is always same. There is no length between the initial and the final point, because those two points are same. That's why always displacement is 0 in that case, in case of closed path. Otherwise, in case of another examples, as I have shown you, if this is the movement, then distance between this from that point is the displacement. That is the shortest path. Now come back. Let us come back to our that discussion what I have mentioned little earlier. There are some physical quantities for which we need to mention magnitude and direction, both magnitude and direction. These quantities, for example, velocity, we will learn velocity. Force, little earlier I have mentioned displacement. We will also learn acceleration. These are some common terms we will learn as we will progress. These are some common terms for which we need to mention both magnitude and direction. These physical quantities are called, all these are called vector quantities. Vector quantities. Some quantities are there for which we need to mention only magnitude, no direction is required. For example, speed. Your time. Suppose some other quantities are there, say area, say volume. You don't need to mention any direction for these types of physical quantities. These quantities are called scalar quantities. So here we have learnt two more terms, that is scalar quantities and vector quantities. We will remember these two terms, scalar and vector, because what we are going to learn, some more terms related to motions we are going to learn. There we will mention scalar and vector quantities, magnitude, direction, etc. We are going to learn this term, speed, related to motion. What is speed? Speed is actually distance covered by an object in unit time. So mathematically we can measure speed this way, distance divided by time, distance covered in unit time. If we take one random example, suppose an object covers in 5 seconds 10 meter, then in 1 second, if you apply unitary method, you have learned in mathematics, unitary method, in 1 second it will cover 10 by 5 meter in 1 second. Unit time, as I have told, distance covered in unit time. This distance the object is covering in this case in 1 second. This is called speed. So here speed is equal to 2 meter per second, meter per second, distance per unit time. Now SI unit, its SI unit is this one, meter per second, because distance is some sort of length, and you know in SI system the measure of length is meter, whereas the measure of time is second. So therefore we will say meter per second in SI system. You can say kilometer per hour, meter per hour, kilometer per second. You can say there are various types of expression, but the SI unit is meter per second. Remember, speed is a scalar quantity. Why? It does not need the direction. Here distance is scalar quantity, time is also scalar quantity. It is not always necessary that if we express any quantity by all the scalar quantities, it will become a scalar quantity. Not always, but I am saying that speed is a scalar quantity. You need not mention its direction, only magnitude is sufficient. Magnitude is 2 meter per second is the speed. Now there are various types of speeds: uniform and non-uniform. Uniform, already we have learned uniform motion and non-uniform motion. If speed is always 2 meter, any example, random example, always 2 meter per second, in every second if it covers 2 meter, 2 meter, 2 meter, 2 meter, then its speed is uniform speed. Suppose for every 5 seconds the object covers 20 meter, next 5 seconds it covers 20 meter, in next 5 seconds it covers 20 meter. In each of these cases speed is 20 divided by 5, that is 4 meter per second. See, 20 divided by 5, 4 meter per second. 20 divided by 5, 4 meter per second. So this type of example is the example of uniform speed. Now if you change the distances covered by the object in every 5 seconds, suppose in first 5 seconds it covers 20 meter, in next 5 seconds it covers 10 meter, in next second again next 5 seconds it covers 25, then the speeds go on changing. It is 2 meter per second, it is 5 meter per second. The speed goes on changing, 4 meter per second, 2 meter per second, 5 meter per second. This is called non-uniform speed. Non-uniform speed. Let us take our previous example again. First it was 4 meter per second, next it was 2 meter per second, and in third case it was 5 meter per second, and the time taken was 5 second, 5 second, 5 seconds. Non-uniform speed. For non-uniform speed of an object we need to find out average speed, otherwise we cannot express the speed of the object so easily. What is the speed? What will you say? 4 meter per second or 2 meter per second or 5 meter per second? No specific speed you can say. That's why the concept of average speed. What is average speed? Total distance covered by total time taken. Here the distance was 20 meter, here the distance was 10 meter, here the distance was 25 meter. If you add all these distances, 20 plus 10 plus 25, and time taken 5 plus 5 plus 5, it is 55 divided by 15. If you simplify, you will have 55 by 15 means 3.67 meter per second approximately. 3.67 meter per second will be the average speed of this object. In our example, the mathematical calculation will be this: average speed is total distance covered by total time taken.